Look at it as a plasma transfer. The ground is hydrogen. Potential difference is the plasma of all the elements, neutron, proton, electron, and the shell itself of carbon, of nitrogen, of oxygen. Then the totality in respect to the minimum has somewhere here a potential. Do not forget, these are order of magnitude. The potential difference here is that much. The potential difference here is that much. The work of the universe is not chemically, it's potential plasma level strength difference. You have to understand that the system is highly effective, and that's how it works. You have to have, if you didn't have hydrogen as a base level potential balance comparison, you would have never been able to connect the other elements together in comparison and near enough create life. Repetition. Enclosure in the system, what we call amino acid. You have to understand the same thing again if you extend the knowledge a step further. I've lost this. I'll do it here. You have the same process. Upper atmosphere. Earth. The center of the earth. In respect to the center, very low potential. In respect to the sun, extremely low magnetical. But in respect to the center, very high potential. Interaction of the two fields of the sun and the earth creates this, what we call the shell, where the balances of all the elements occur. Why we have a thick layer of interaction of the fields between the earth and the plasma of the sun is because we are mono element in the atmosphere of a specific area, but we are composite in the center. So the composition from hydrogen to plutonium creates different layers of interaction of fields on the upper atmosphere. And this interaction allows a combination of elements to be attracted according to the friction onto the planet. If you understand more and you understand this process, you will understand something very simple. You remember the old song, "It's raining? From the sky rains gold. From the sky rains plutonium. From the sky rains nitrogen. From the sky rains oxygen." Because the field interaction of the matter elements within the structure of the center creates a composite field interaction. And that composite field interaction creates a GANs of it, plasmatic field of it, and when it comes in interaction with the matter state of the earth, will convert to that. We see built up on layers by layers on different parts of this planet. Where do these layers come from? Why only we get sand on the desert? Why we get in certain places only gold? Why do we get nitrogen continuously? Now that we understand more depth in the knowledge of the plasma, we have to understand and open our eyes to the total truth, not what we have been made to believe. Where do you think these stackers of dust appears layer by layer and different color layers? In different condition in the atmosphere of this planet, in interaction with the what we call the shell plasma of the solar system and the shell plasma of the galaxy and the shell plasma of our universe, continuously these frictions of different fields rains upon man on this planet, everything you can ever imagine. And when they come in touch with the matter state of the earth, they become matter as we see it. This addition of the strength of the matter on this planet, it puts pressure on what we call the solid state part of, or what we call the continents. And this itself, addition of continuous mass, puts pressure on the magma and puts pressure on the central core, which changes the field strength and the compression of the fields on of the planet. Every year, tons, megatons of matter rains upon this planet. And this itself creates pressure on the magma, and it creates in magnetical gravitational pressure onto the center core. And that allows and fields increases and loses more into the atmosphere, because now you're squeezing the orange. And that release reduces the gravitational magnetic field of the planet and pulls it more to the center, which is the sun. In that process, we'll see as the elements are created, part of them, like oxygen, nitrogen, carbon, and the others, they go through the same transformation as they go as amino acid on the planet. And this leads itself to creation of life above us. Every day we breed animals from the upper levels, but we've never been aware of, because we thought we are the last. I explained this in the teaching, and now I explain it in the public teachings that you understand more of. As we've seen life with us as humans on the planet, we've seen life as the fish. We see life in the inner circles of the planet according to the level of the structure of the fields arrived. Life exists above us. As I explained very simply, the fish at the bottom of the sea, the bottom eaters, they absorb whatever falls from the top. In fact, us human beings have become the bottom eaters of the gas level. There are life, composite life, but without the structure of physicality living above us. And when they die, or when they reduce in the strength that they become lower level, we breed them in. And this has an ethic to it. Thou shalt not kill. Our breeding is killing of the other creatures. Our life process, the energy we absorb, is by, in a way, digesting other lives. We are the bottom of the stack of the gaseous planet section. So whatever is created here does come land. The same as where the fish dies on the top and is not consumed, goes to the bottom, and the bottom of the sea creatures eat what it comes down. Otherwise, the oceans will be a rotten pot. This is what man has to understand, the truth about the creation, not thinking that he is the ultimate. We are actually the bottom eaters of what is above us and creates life. If the amino acid could be created, that this interaction with the water and the salt leads with the matter state to the physical life of the man. So the gaseous part has its own structure, has got its own life. We have to respect that. This is why I go on teaching, thou shalt not kill. Our breathing system is a killing machine of the creatures up above. Or what it falls with less energy, they still have existence life. It's very hard for those who don't understand to criticize, but that does not change the truth. Life exists in every level. And our process of life is the same in the galaxy, in the universe, in the solar system. This is why we encourage for understanding of the absorption of the field, because it says, thou shalt not kill. Our breathing is a process of killing. The way we kill other animals to eat physically for our physical side. When a man learns in totality how to absorb energy, what is available, man will find a peace with himself. What we did not want to know, what we always denied to know, and what we went opposite to the teaching was, thou shalt not kill. Our breathing system, our feeding system, being a vegetarian, being a meat eater, being whatever you call it, is a process of ending another life to take the energy it has stored for our survival. NASA, other space agencies have shown this life. I've repeated this many times. Now that we understand the process of the plasma, is for us to understand the next step in the space technology. We start the teaching of the what we call motions in coming weeks. We announce very shortly the position of the training. There are a number of people who have applied to become motions. Some of you have already paid. Please complete the full process within next 10 days. You'll be called where to attend, how to attend, and by what we said in autumn. Beginning of autumn is today. We have people from Jewish background who applied to become motion. We welcome you. Take a piece to your what we call the spoken language. We have people from other path of belief and life who have joined the Keshe Foundation in the training of motions. We welcome you, but teach the ethos of a space through your culture, through your language, to your people. There is a big problem in the space technology and teaching. Till we don't bring peace to the tribe of Moses, they will not leave us in peace. And this is what we have to do. We showering them with love and care will change the path of their work. Understand, we cannot destroy and we cannot kill. We can only share what we have, we want to give, that those who have, they give to us. I was teaching very recently, and I said, theology and science at this level cannot walk apart, they go hand in hand. Is in the writing of Christ. It was supposed to be in the tablets which were given to Moses. Thou shalt not kill. How come the Jews and the Christians are the manufacturers, planners, designers, executors of all the killing machines, planning of wars? This is against the ethos of what you believe in and what was given to. That is why both are condemned and condoned. It's in the writing of Christ, bless his name, thou shalt not kill. We kill breathing, we design machines to kill, and then we say we're Christians. Shame on man and the leaders who abuse the name of Christ. Europe is not, as French president said, a Christian club. Christ shared his bread and brought peace. And what we see exact opposite with Vatican. This is the change of point for Vatican II and the Christianity. Work by the ethos of the Christ, by the rules of his conduct, by sharing the knowledge as is the bread, by sharing the blood which is his soul, you'll find out humanity will change. Everything written in the holy books is done exactly opposite by the man, and then say we have Christ, because you are taking more than what you are giving by stealing. Thou shalt not kill. The most advanced weapon technologies for killing are manufactured by the Christians. All the planning of the killing, mass murders, wars, planned by the Jews, opposite to the writing of the tablet of Moses. Then you still expect to see peace? Impossible. Now we bring that balance to force it to be done, that the man forgets and goes back to the teaching of the Christ. You have to understand, balance comes out of peace. Peace in mind, peace, balance in emotion, balance in knowledge and science, and technology, and understanding the application of it. Understand what you take, if it's correct, will come out as a knowledge to the others. What you steal, you have to pay back with the losses in your own dimension. If you're a Christian and you develop my technology, you have to live by the law of the foundation and by the law of Christ. You have to make sure the knowledge you received and you developed has to be on the basis of his work, because you have committed your soul on the path, the road to the Creator through Moses and Jesus, and their soul, not their physical life. You condition it, thou shalt not kill. You give the knowledge the way he shared his body and his blood, which is his physicality and his soul. Go back to the teaching of the foundation. This is my blood. This is my body. Blood is path to the emotion. And all the teachings, medical teachings we teach. And that's the path to the soul of the man. Physicality is the body, which we share the knowledge in physical term to change. And that's where it stands. You have to be aware of what is and how you apply the technology, and how you make it your wish, and how you understand your wish will be your command in this is what I want and this is what will happen. Understand what you have committed yourself in application of the technology and what you want the technology to give to you in its application. Then you find the balance. The machinery and the reactors is all what I call a show. Because you need to see physicality, tangibility to confirm the existence of it. Otherwise you don't believe even in yourself. It's beautiful when we see people sharing knowledge so openly, the latest ways on the internet. We have the tools to share. And we see those who wait for the smallest something to show they exist because of their meager thieving. It comes from their blood, it comes from their upbringing. They always have to show negative to show that the takers. They show they don't add to the positiveness. What about if we add something else to it? You've seen my reaction today in respect to the imprisonment of one of the Keshe Foundation directors with all the threats with it. Our revenge is very simple, giving more, that it puts them to shame. We don't take revenge. We give pleasure of having more, that it puts you to shame. You share so much, more knowledge, that the knowledge you have becomes irrelevant. You follow the Keshe Foundation, you follow our path, you live our way, you bring the temple of God into your soul. Then you become the messenger of the man. I emphasize on this again and again because we are reaching the point where we have to come to understand that is a time to join the physicality and the soul of the man together, that the man can open itself to the universal community. You are looking for a spaceship to take you. The spaceship is you. If your soul was the decision maker of the shape of your fingers and your eyes, which is the container of your existence, if you understand it, can become the container of your spaceship, and the universe becomes the oyster for the man who understands this. Translate the knowledge we share as a family as a next step to progress to more peaceful life. We have become so tied up with finance and what we call physicality of exchange, that we have forgotten that we have everything we don't need to exchange. We take what we need. From now on, you cannot separate. And I'll repeat it again and again till those who don't understand, understand. The development of the technology in the space, in plasma, separated from the ethos of the conduct. Because from now on, your conduct becomes the position of your spaceship, the position of your soul, the position of your physicality. I explained to the Universal Council meeting members in the past couple of days, we did not put a badge on the body of the member of the council in Rome meeting that they could stand out. They have to stand out through the conduct of their souls, that the people see it without the badge. They sat amongst us, no one knew who is a member, who is not. Because we are part, we are all the same. Understand the transfer of the plasma applies to every level of the existence and use. You learn, teach us. We learn, we teach you. We add to the knowledge. We give you, you add to the knowledge, you give all of us. And then we go to the next step. The same goes with the governments. The same goes with individuals. The same goes with different organizations. As I said, in the Keshe Foundation, we have every path of belief. We have Jews, we have Christians, we have Muslims, we have Buddhists, we have every other path, and we welcome everyone, because the path is all to one thing: the betterment of the man in the true order of the Prophet as a soul, not in the physical life. You're American, you're Chinese, you're Iranian, you're Arab, whatever, it makes no difference. You have a soul, and your soul is connected with the rest of our souls. Lack of level of your soul affect us, we have to give more. It's better to be a giver than a taker. Understand the principle of teaching. Then you become the teachers. Because, as I said, this planet is beautiful. It's the behavior of the man which has brought the color of red to it. Understand to develop technologies which does not steal what is not needed, but it gives that what is needs, it receives. It's a different approach. This way, no one can misread the other. This way, nobody can become the leader of the other. We see different interactions, we see different operations, we see different demand, we see different requests. Can you help us with this? Can you help us with that? You're a charlatan. You didn't do this, you promised that. We gave you, you did not see. We put things on the table because you're so greedy, you don't receive. I teach you something which is important for you to understand. You remember the cup with an orange? Where you put the amino acid, where you put the CO2, where you put copper oxide, and on the other side you put in zinc oxide. And then what you did, you brought the taste of the orange into the water. You drank the water, you tasted it, you did the banana, some of you did fish and chips, and some of you did hamburgers. Now, you'll be shocked. The cup is you as a human being. You have the amino acid, you have the zinc oxide in your body, you have the copper, which is your muscles, and you have others. The orange on the top is the soul of the man. And in your body, you carry 80%, 70% salt water. How clearly, how much more I have to clear the state of the man. You can receive whatever you need from the space above without killing. You carry the essence of the Creator without killing the Creator within you. There is no difference between this chap and this container. If you could smell, taste the orange in the salt water of the cup, which you never tasted the salt of it, but you were the organizer of creating the gans of it with it, which is in your body. Now you understand you can absorb anything from the environment above if the wish is within the soul of the man, which is the orange itself. If you can understand this, then you understand in a space how you change your physicality according to where you are. You are an apple, you'll have the physicality of apple in the same direction in different realms of the creation. You want to be a banana, you will look like a banana because you have interacted with universal energy. So, what you are looking for, a cup to taste the orange, you are the cup. You decide what you want to taste. If you understood the past 2 minutes of teaching, you have understood the secret of creation and existence. Otherwise, it's just a riddle and shame to speaker. You have to have something in your hand to confirm you have something. You have no trust in what you have yourself because it has been easy to steal. And this stealing has become the cause of those who can use it to harm the others, creating wars, setting tools to kill, setting equipments and machinery to destroy more lives. Let's ask yourself a single question. Is what about to happen in Europe and America deserved by the people of these continents for the tools of war which they have created in the past recent time to create more mayhem and killing? Thou shalt not steal, thou shalt not kill. And don't forget the word of the Christ. Eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth. How many lives has been taken by the operation of the tools built and developed in the Western world, in the other countries, and now the eye has to be paid for the eye, and the tooth has to be paid for the tooth. And don't forget, it goes in the inheritance of the children from the father. It's a lot to digest, but the digestion time has started. Up to now, you've eaten. Now you have to digest, and the consequence of drinking a poison is to stand the touch of the poison. Change the way. Try to get people not to fight for peace, but deliver so much technology that they don't have time to think about a piece of war, a piece of planet, a piece of whatever to possess. This is a lot of you being in it and you haven't seen it. Those of you who are touched by the knowledge, live in the kitchens, moved out of your bedrooms, live in the garages, and still don't understand why. Because you have become the true man of a space. You know it will come what it needs to be done, and you have enough time to give. Stop coming to the foundation to take as a habit. Come to the foundation to give the knowledge. Come to the foundation to learn the knowledge that you can give more. And this will be your pitfall and the downfall. As I said very recently, organizations like Microsoft, IBM, and the rest release people who come to work with them in thousands a day. Every year, tens of thousands of people are sacked, walk out, or move out, or go to another job from major corporations and major companies. But when we kick out a crook and a thief, we become everything wrong with us. We bring millions, but we spit out the thieves, and then they become everything wrong with us. One man for a few weeks. But they don't understand with this process, they've lost their soul. They start living in doldrums. See how many people they've done that. And they think they have achieved something about what is wrong with the foundation. actually they show us what is so correct about the foundation. Because we pray for their soul. 1 out of thousands every day joining, out of millions every year understanding. When we spit out the dirt becomes a victim, because otherwise it doesn't show how dirty it's been. We allow you to come in, we allow you to become part of the foundation, because your soul accepts to become, but we see the soul of those who misconduct too. Then you understand, we don't need to take revenge, we don't need to fight, we spend the time in more developing. The process is, we warn, we inform, we teach all aspects of the technology, because that's what it is. I have a field which is very strong, your field is very weak, be careful, you can absorb it and it can damage you. It's for you to move, position yourself that it doesn't. You see this with the new maglev technology, plasma field wireless system. We create a huge amount of energy, but we interact with the energy. You take what you need from us. We take what we need from you. It's not a one way anymore. That's why there is no money transfer. There is no financial transaction. It's the freedom of giving what I need, freedom of I take what I need. I was talking to an industrialist very recently. He says, this doesn't work. How are we going to get our shirts from if we do this? How are we going to put chairs? How are we going to have beds? How are we going to have clothing if we go this way? I said, it's very simple. I work 2 weeks a year. I build all the chairs I can build for 2 weeks in 50 days because I've been forced to. And then I spend the other 50 weeks enjoying, learning and sharing knowledge. I don't want to get paid for what I do, because in that 50 weeks which I'm not working, I take for the others who worked the 2 weeks. It's very hard to change what's been ingrained into us, what is being forced to us. That we have to work 50 days a week to have 2 weeks off, to have a rest from the physicality. In the real life, we work 8 hours, we take 16-hour rest. How come the cycle of life has to be the opposite? What about if I take 1/3 of 52 working and the 2/3 the same as my physical body a rest, where I can participate to give more? I don't need payment. I work freely and I've been given freely. I won't stash a house full of clothing. I take the clothing I need for that time. There is a very, very big understanding, and it's going to hit the financial and governments very soon with the Keshe Foundation. We came through the back door, but now we have the key to the front door, and the front door is open. Nobody will ever lock it. Let me show you how we came through the back door. We have taught you about the orange and the water, if you understood it fully. We have taught you how to feed yourself from universal energy. We have taught you the application of the medicine, that you do not need to be trapped. We have shown you the power production with the maglevs and the rest. We have shown the power of the space technology with the Iranian capture of the American plane 8 years ago, exactly more or less to the week of development in Tehran. We have shown you how to produce materials through the knowledge seekers of Austria. You have food, you have medicine, you have energy, you know how to travel, and you know how to make material. Do you need to be a slave to the man? We have changed the world economy without the economists having any say in it, any government have any say in it. It's now time to teach. Teaching masses. Don't be afraid. They hack your computer because they have to. The guy wants 2 weeks holidays where you're getting 50 weeks holidays. He's jealous. He has to discredit you because you share knowledge and you have 50 days to 50 weeks to share knowledge, and he has to work 8 hours a day for the paymasters. He is a slave to humanity's physical bond, not you. How many of you have come to the foundation and walked around the foundation, and you've gone out now and you're setting up different ways and better lifestyle than before you came? You produce lectures, you give maggraph teachings, you're producing coils and you're getting an income from it physically, or you share it and the food and the thing comes through somewhere. We have become a new industry. We have become a new culture where we will change the culture. Do you need to go to the copper shop to buy copper, or can you follow what Peter showed you in Austria? Produce copper as you need from the fresh air. Where do you think the copper comes from? Partially, the way you capture the CO2, carbon from the air, the carbon was in the air. You just captured it. Now, the copper and the zinc you see on the plate is already partially in the air. Between the cores, you create the environment for it to land on your plate. And the more you want, the more the earth will deliver to you from the space of the universe. You want to be filled with the food that the hunger would not touch you? Put yourself between the two cores and you receive what you need. Every day, 2 seconds. Just walk through it. You are fed. No hunger. Do we teach more? Do we need to explain more? Or would you see the light yourselves to expand more knowledge? If the container or the plate can show the delivery of the nickel, brass, copper, or whatever, and is scientifically tested, and we're going to do more of it to show most of it. When it becomes a matter state, it shows itself. But if you need a copper or whatever, and you walk in that field, your body takes as a field what it needs. You don't need to eat. You do not need to do whatever. And whenever you need something, we're becoming more experts to produce a specific field for a specific material. There is no way that the work of the foundation can be stopped, because it's millions of you doing it. Don't fight the government. Deliver new technologies, new understanding, that what they have become obsolete. Fighting takes energy. I don't fight. I open and explore, and I show the hand of the others. They have time to fight each other. We have time to expand the knowledge. Work on the understanding of the plasma. The more deeper, closer we get to the time of what I call left and opening, the more I try to teach you the ethos of the working of the universe. We are not prophets. We are here to be profited by the peace of the universe for man. And knowledge is part of that process, but understanding the use of the knowledge is more important than actually having the tool. It's no use if I give you the latest model car when you don't know how to drive. It's as good as the donkey. At least on the donkey you could walk it because it walked itself. This needs the knowledge of driving. Where is the ignition? Where is the gearbox? What does it do? What do you have to gear into to get what you want from it? As I said, I have given you the most beautiful Rolls Royce, all made of gold, and the only thing is left is the ignition key. And the ignition key is understanding the ethos of the universe. You will drive the car without even getting onto it. The key is understanding the balance between the soul and the physicality, and understanding that you are no inferior than the other, but you are equal, but you have to give a little bit more, that you are empty to receive more. You don't receive out of pittiness, you receive out of generosity, and it's a big difference. With the Keshe Foundation technology, with the Keshe Foundation ethos, we make you man of generosity. You don't think what comes, you have enough to give more. If you understand this, you have opened the key to the golden car. If you don't understand this, you are full of criticism and there is something wrong, because it's the lack of your own soul which has not elevated to understanding the condition of the universe. You build the system, doesn't work. Do not blame the system doesn't work. Try to understand what you did not understood in the operation of the plasma. Understand about your own lack of knowledge, your own transition and confirmation of understanding, then it becomes easy. The biggest problem you will face in development of the plasma technology is the teaching of part of the knowledge of the science of present time in the matter state. You have to separate what works in the matter than what works in plasma. It's different worlds, even though they have one common denominator, which is the smaller, weaker plasma and the stronger plasma. Try to understand, why doesn't your system work? What is in the link missing that is not done? I enjoyed watching the guys in London replicating the units they saw in Rome with almond on the floor. We thought the condition was 60 Hertz, that the system of the Italian system does not work on the same system as we see in Arizona. We could not see how the system developed by Douglas suddenly doesn't come to work when it gets to Washington. Why does it burn out? Why does it blow itself up? Because all these systems are set on the balance. It was beautiful what I saw in London. A lot of people said, oh, you see, it is a confirmation. It is what we saw with the guys in London, what I call MI5, MI6 people. They know who they are, who attended the conference in Rome. It's fantastic. It was confirmation of what we saw on the floor in Rome and the openness they shared. And in that sharing, they enlighten us in what was, why the system in Arizona works, why the system in Europe works different way. It reduces, but it needs a maglev conditioning, but Arizona doesn't. That we test, and in the next few days, hopefully by next Thursday, we explain to you that we all learned, we gave the knowledge, we shipped all the materials from Italy to Arizona factory, Keshe Foundation, and in them doing it slightly different, they gave it, they perform better. There is no misunderstanding in what Arizona has done. They added their knowledge to it, and the way, the beauty, the way John works in Arizona is the opening of the share of the knowledge so rapidly. This is how it should be. He is an equal partner with us in the factory, and he shares equally the same ethos as we do. Now, this sharing and this confirmation by the guys in London opened up a new angle for us to see, and now we see how all the systems can be bought into 100% more or less reduction in the next couple of weeks. This is important because reducing the demand from the supply allows us the transmission of the free fields on what we call in a wireless system. We take a very little from the plasma of the transmitter, and then we can amplify it to what we need. It's beautiful the way the openness brings things out. And what we saw, the first comment from the people who thought they are very clever, this was expected. This shows they're still serving their masters. But the beauty was the openness we saw in London. The guys who came to Rome, they understood the art is their job. The art, hopefully they become part of the Keshe Foundation manufacturing UK in a very short time, and we support them. They solved the problem which we had to wait a few more weeks, but in that process we learned from them. The video was put on as sharing confirmation of what we saw, what is wrong. And that knowledge allowed us to look at different way, and in that process we create a more efficient system for most of you. We don't look at negativity, we look what is brought in as positive. The ones who look at it negativity, they have to confirm their meager existence. They've been paid by the Jewish lobby in Tel Aviv. Otherwise they don't get their paymasters paid. But the guy who comes, a guy what I call working for ex-Ministry of Defense of United Kingdom and the others, and they go and replicate it. We told them what was our concern. Immediately they confirmed it's not what we thought. So it allowed us to see the knowledge was shared so freely. We do the same thing with people in America. We do the same thing with Japan. We do the same thing with everybody else. Share the knowledge. Show what can be changed or what we think is not changed. We will release more technologies when you are ready to receive more. Because at this moment, there's so much technology is coming out that you do not know what to do. It's a lot of mayhem and confusion. People are not taking the corners of the carpet to carry the carpet. They see there's a big roll, I'm not carrying it. The carpet will not be carried if each one of us doesn't hold one corner and piece of it. If you understood what is on this screen, you have understood most of the secret of the creation in the universe. How to feed yourself, how to convert yourself into the energy, how to manifest yourself according to the environment you are, how you create matters, and how you interact with the fields to show what you are and what you can come to become. You have a maggraph system. You looked at it as something to give you something free. You never looked at it that is a collector, is a transmitter. If it's a collector, I would like to give to it. If it's a transmitter, I would like to receive from it. You were happy with 2 wires coming out of it. I was giving you the energy of the universe. Soon you will understand what I mean. Very soon you will understand what I mean. I showed this morning before these teachings to the guys from Innovation Center. As I said to them, I can show all the systems, then become a magician. You show all the systems that a lot of people know they know, there'll be no harm to it. Because they know they cannot stop the process. We've seen it, as I said, in LA in last 7 days. They got a guy, but they knew the knowledge is already transferred. It's no use touching the guy anymore. It's no use threatening him to kill him the way they did with me. And we see the man who made the threat and his boss, at the moment, cannot even stand an election. She will not be there, mentally disabled, by threatening to mentally disable me. The reason we teach this way is to make sure enough people receive that there is no way the technology, the understanding, and the ethos can be blocked. The presidents of United States and China are too late to show their power to us. We will surpass you by long time. but you are still busy in your childish work. Putting the supporters of the Keshe Foundation or the people who understand it into prison in China will not help. Because there is more people who will understand more. Threatening to kill the Keshe Foundation people in China by the Chinese military will not work. We received the threats, we responded with the threats. You do not threat to kill or imprison Keshe Foundation supporters. We released these, we have taken screenshots of it that it cannot be denied, and it's been stored in safe places. How Keshe Foundation supporters have received threats from the Chinese military and Chinese leadership. We don't stand pressure from one country, it goes right across, because we're changing everything. Mr. Zhu threatened to do a lot of things with other Keshe Foundation supporters as he came to become the supporter, but it was undercover for another ethos. And we shared that directly with all the Keshe Foundation supporters. We received a live threat from Professor Zhu and his supporters in military. We didn't respond, we gave them more information and more support. This is how you got to work. Return the aggression with love, with knowledge. And this is how it should be. They come with a very low level fields, you give them with a higher. This is how you should operate. This is how the Keshe Foundation supporters should operate. Because don't forget the word of Christ, bless his name. God forgive them as they do not know what they are doing. Where he could take the sword out and do what Moses did, slaughter more to prove he's more powerful in physicality. The more you learn, the more you teach. This is my belief and this is what will be done. The more we teach, the more we enlighten, the more people will walk from the pain and shackles of painful life. Try to understand, and when you teach in your workshops, teach the understanding. Don't teach the system, mechanical system. Then they will make the mechanical system their way. This is important for all of us. This is important for us to understand that how things work and how things stand. You got to realize that the process of sharing has to be to teach fishing, not give a fish. They will decide what kind of fish they want to catch, because now they know how to fish. Because they know different tricks than you do. They have different life experience than you do. Understand always, whatever you do, in every aspect of the teaching of, learning of the technology from now on and from the past, if you are the weaker plasma or if you are the stronger plasma. If you are creating a weaker receiver on the gravitational or a stronger giver on the magnetical. If you are creating very stronger magnetical, you cannot receive by the gravitational unless you reduce it enough that the gravitational can accept, because it cannot take more than what it needs. This is the secret of working in this field of the universe. You can put a bowl of soup, but if I don't like tomato soup and you give me a big bowl of tomato soup, it's not my fault I don't want it, because I don't